Hello, Theory 1 students. Welcome to your first assignment. Your first assignment is to copy the chart found as figure 1.8 in the 8th edition of Benward on page 5. When you're done with this assignment, it'll look something like this. Compare what you're seeing on the screen to the chart. So we're going to use this using Finale, an industry-grade publishing software that we have here on campus. You can use this in the lab, which is room F1295. Check the hours. Be sure that you have about a half hour to complete this assignment after you've watched the video. So you're going to log into the computer, and then in your dashboard, which is this down here, you're going to locate Finale 2011. Maybe we'll have 2012 soon this semester. Maybe it's 2013 next year or wherever we're at. You're going to click that icon and it's going to open Finale. And you're going to get a screen that's going to look something like this. You're going to select the Setup Wizard. And then just click Next. Here you get to choose how you want your score to be set up. We just want staves to show this diagram. In looking at the diagram, I noticed that the first clef I see is the treble clef. So I'm going to select treble clef and hit Add. You'll see that it pops up over here. Next. Here you can title your assignments. This is called Clef Assignment. The composer is you, so you'll put your name there. I like to delete this copyright most of the time. Now, in looking at the example, figure 1.8, I noticed there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different clefs. So I'm going to choose and set my number of measures to 8. We'll learn more about this window later. Finish. Finale will take a second to set up your score. I like to drag and make the window nice and big, and then hit Command and plus to increase the size of the document so that it's easier to work with. It's something I always do. Comparing this to the diagram, I notice that the diagram has everything on one line. I want to have the same thing. So I'm going to select all these measures at once by using Command and A. After I click the Selection tool. The main tool palette is found here. The simple entry palette is found here. I'm going to move these over and closer. Okay, so the Selection tool and Command A. Then Shift Command M. This brings up the Fit Measures dialog box. Change the value of the number in the field to 8 and just hit Return. All of a sudden, all the measures are comfortably on one line. Next, I'm going to clean up the score a little bit. It says Score, Subtitle, and Arranger. We don't want any of that. The letter A is the text tool. Click that, drag boxes around the stuff you don't want, and just hit delete. Much better. Next, I'm going to drag this apart so that the staff takes up more space on the page. I can do that by using the Page Layout tool. Grab the handle by clicking it and drag it over and align the parallel lines so that they form one line. Let go and you'll notice that the staff is now bigger. Okay, now I'm ready to start setting clefs in each of these measures so that it begins to look more like the document. So I'm going to take the clef tool, which is the base clef right here, and I'm going to select the next measure. The next tool The next measure has the soprano clef. So that's clef C. I'm going to select that clef, check Show Clef Always, and increase the size of the clef to 100%, and click Place Clef after bar line. This will make the clef appear not as a courtesy clef, but as an actual clef after the bar line, maintaining its size. If you look at scores, you'll notice that courtesy clefs are always a little smaller, and that's not what we want because that's not what the diagram shows. Hit OK, and do this copying the diagram, changing your clefs as you go, and then repeating the process for each measure. Next is the alto. Increase, place. Okay. And now we have this. Okay. Okay. Next is this really strange baritone clef. Finally, the bass clef. Same process. Clef. Okay. All right, clefs are all placed. Next, I'm going to set my whole notes. The simple entry palette will allow me to accomplish this. To use this palette, simply click on any of the note values and place them on the staff using the cursor. Click to set the note. For each of your clefs, you will place the note, as we discussed, on the line that fits with the crotch of the clef. Now you'll notice that the baritone clef, oh, I made a mistake. If that happens, just hit Command Z and your mistake will go away. I notice that I don't have a whole note at the baritone C clef. However, I do have one at the baritone clef F clef. And so we're going to learn how to fix that problem here in a second. Next, I notice that the diagram does not have a time signature, and there's this weird rest and bar lines. We need to get rid of all that. We accomplish that using the staff tool. Select the staff tool, back to Command and A. Click the staff, and the dialog box will appear. Notice that we can eliminate the empty measure rests as we have in measure number 6. We could also choose not to display bar lines. Okay. Or time signatures. Bye-bye bar lines and time signatures. However, that caused a problem over here, we notice. This measure here does not have the double bar line. So we're going to select that measure and bring that dialog box up and reposition bar lines. Notice that all of a sudden all of my bar lines are back. So that function didn't work for this particular application. So what we're going to do is we're going to do this differently. We're going to use the measure tool and select all of the measures with the exception of the last measure. We're going to click on those. That will allow us to have invisible bar lines all the way up until the end. Then we can click the last measure and change that bar line to the thin double bar line. And now all of a sudden, oh, it looks a lot more like the document. Now that we have measures selected, I can move this. Make sure all those boxes aren't purple by clicking the document. I can slide this over so that it's closer to the bass clef. And perhaps I can move the bass clef closer to that to make it look even more like the document. Now we're ready to put and label the clefs. I can label the clefs by using the text tool. Click on the document and simply type the word that you would like to have. If you're not satisfied with the position of it, you can grab the handle and move it to the position that you would prefer to have it. And you can do that for each of the clefs. A professional document will have all of the text in line, and Finale will allow you to do that by grabbing handles and moving things into the appropriate place, spacing it. You can continue to do this. Next, we want to identify these clefs as alternatives to each other. But we also notice that there's this unusual bracket. The bracket is found as a smart shape. Notice that of the different brackets, this one looks the closest, but it's upside down. When I click twice and pull, I notice that that bracket opens up, and when it's below the staff, it'll be upside down from the version that it looks on the palette. If I was to do that up here, you'll notice that the bracket is the other way. Just a few things to learn about Finale. Well, I think this looks pretty good, with the exception of it needs to be labeled, but you can do that. I suppose the last thing to do is to listen to it. We can do that by selecting Window, Playback Controls. Pressing the green arrow will allow us to hear our masterpiece. It's all middle C. Well, you get the idea. This is the Clef assignment. This is what I'm looking for. If you want to mess around and try to get the spacing of the clefs a little bit better and make it look better, that's up to you. But this looks like a completed assignment. I hope this video is helpful. Good luck on your work.